What's going on, guys? For today's video, I'm bringing you the best Smash Bros. Characters of all time. We're looking at the absolute strongest characters in Smash Bros. History. So we're looking at every single game, except for Project M. I'm going to leave that out because it is, fan-made. I love Project M, but we're going to leave it out for this one. And I know it's really hard to compare games because, how can you compare a Smash 64 character to a Smash Ultimate character? I mean, in Smash 64, they don't even have up throws or down throws. They don't have air dodges. It's hard to compare games. So the way we're going to look at this is how good were they in their own game? Like how much stronger were they than the rest of the characters in their particular game? So that's how we're going to do it. The minimum criteria is they had to at least be an S tier. There are some amazing A tier characters out there in each game, but I just only wanted to pick the S tier characters and the ones that were just clearly better than the rest of the cast. I'm also going to be giving points for characters that are recognized as the best in the game, and also characters that are in a tier of their own. So if the character is the second best in the game, but in a tier of their own, they could potentially be higher than another character that's ranked number 1, but's not in a tier of their own. If that makes sense. Because if they're in their own tier, that tells me that they're that much better than the rest of the cast. And if they're ranked number 1, well then clearly they should be ranked pretty high on this tier list. And the last factor I'm going to be looking at is how much this character carries the player. Because certain characters are really good, but they don't necessarily carry the player. Whereas other characters are very good and carry the player, as in they're just that broken or that easy to use. So without further ado, let's get into it. I do want to throw out a few honorable mentions because Ultimate has so many S tier characters, and honestly, we haven't all agreed on who's S tier and who's not because some people have different opinions. So I just wanted to include Joker and Pikachu because everybody thinks they're the top 2, it seems like. So here's a few honorable mentions of some amazing S tier characters that weren't included. Wario, Shulk, and Palutena. To me, those are the 3rd, 4th, and 5th best characters. I don't even know what order. There are other great characters like Wolf, Zero Suit, Peach, the list goes on. I just wanted to include Joker and Pikachu because damn near every list I've seen has them as the top 2. So I'm not saying that the other characters aren't S tier, I'm just not including them on this list because there's so many, I had to only pick a couple. Alright guys, usually I like to start at the bottom and then go up, but for some reason I feel like it'd be a lot easier if I just start from the top. So let's just go ahead. Strongest character in the game of all time out of all the Smash Bros. You guessed it, out of all the series, Meta Knight. This character was so crazy, especially for Brawl, because he just felt like he belonged in a different game. Like he was just that much superior than all the other characters. Outside of we do have Ice Climbers on here. Ice Climbers was pretty damn good, but this character was just crazy. He was so good they actually banned him at one point. He was so strong that they actually made a ledge grab limit for Meta Knight because his jump was just so good and he could use his up B to just get to the ledge so easily, and with the ledge invincibility he could just keep doing that over and over. So not only did he have an incredible neutral, an incredible recovery, incredible edge guarding, but he was able to time people out so easily that they had to think of something. So he did get unbanned eventually, but the ledge grab limit, I'm pretty sure, stayed in the whole time after it was implemented. So this character, just for having the rule changes, the fact that he was in a tier of his own, almost everyone would say that. You could maybe argue Ice Climbers was on the same tier. I think Mewtwo King said that in his Brawl tier list, but a lot of people would say he was in a tier of his own, and he had really good representation, like Mewtwo King, Nairo, Zero. He didn't carry those really skilled players, but if you took an average Joe and gave him Meta Knight, they were going to instantly get some good results. So for that reason, he definitely did carry pretty hard. He had a tier of his own. He was universally recognized as the best in the game. Plus everything else, to me it's pretty clear he's the best character in Smash Bros. History. Alright, the second best character in Smash Bros. History is Bayonetta. And I do think she belongs in a tier with Meta Knight, and here's why. This character was crazy. First off, they had to nerf her because she was so insane, and even after the nerf, this character was just ridiculous. Now, you could argue maybe Cloud was in the same tier as her at the end, but many people I think would say she was in a tier of her own. So I'm giving a little bit of points there. Easily recognized as the best character in that game. Once again, based on my scale, giving you a little bit of points. And this character carries, I would say, more than any character in Smash Bros. History. I would make that argument. And that's why I have her this high. I mean, she was obviously a great character, but let's look at the results. In EVO 2018, I don't want to, talk about one of the players because all the controversy, but those two players that were in Grand Finals have accomplished very little in Ultimate. Oh my god, it's kind of crazy. The champion of EVO 2018 is very irrelevant. And I'm not trying to be mean, not at all, but it just shows how crazy Bayonetta was in that game. Another really good example is Salem. And to be fair, Salem is actually really good. Like, I'll say that. He's a really good player. He's proven that he can play multiple characters, very skilled. And I think he's top 30. I think he's 30th in the world in Ultimate. So Salem has had more success than the other two. But even then, man, Salem won an EVO. Salem beat Zero. Think about how crazy that is. He won EVO as well. Two different EVO players, or two different people that won EVO, that mained Bayonetta, have had not nearly that kind of success. And although Salem has been better than the other player, he still has not had even close to that amount of success. And not trying to be mean again, but I'm just trying to make the point that Bayonetta was that crazy. She really did carry, I believe, more than any other Smash Bros. Character. Alright, so I did decide to add another tier, because I do feel like these characters don't quite break the game like the ones above them, but they are a little bit more powerful than the ones below on the S tier. I feel like in their respective games, it is noticeable how much better they are than the rest of the roster. So the next character is going to be Smash 64 Pikachu. Smash 64 Pikachu is absolutely ridiculous. At one point, the community thought that this character was in a tier of his own, rightfully so. Kirby's absolutely crazy too. And eventually, I think in 2015, the community ended up saying, nah, we think Kirby's on the same tier as Pikachu. Still, it doesn't take anything away that Pikachu is way better than the rest of the characters outside of Kirby. This character off stage is completely crazy. The recovery is amazing, edge guarding amazing, combos are amazing. There's really no weaknesses to this character. I feel like he doesn't quite break the game like the characters above though. So that's why I have him third. Also, I do think he carries players a little bit. I'm not saying that he's brain dead. Like, he does take some skill to use for sure, but he's just so good that, you pick this character, as I said with Meta Knight. Like, Meta Knight's not a brain dead character, but you pick this character, you're going to get really good results, almost guaranteed. So that's what I mean by carried. Speaking of carrying players, this next one is going to be Brawl Ice Climbers. And along with Bayonetta, I could argue this character carries players more than any character ever. You could say Bayonetta. I would say probably Bayonetta number one based on results. But based on how easy it is to use this character, plus results, it's close. This character, oh my god, the chain grabs, it's like in Melee, there was a lot more things you could do to prevent Ice Climbers from wobbling you to death, but in Brawl, just the way the game is set up, it really benefits this character. And Mewtwo King even said he thinks this character is on the same level as Meta Knight. I think they're probably in separate tiers, but I would say like Meta Knight's in a tier of his own, Ice Climber's in a tier of their own. So that's a big reason why I have this character so high, because I do think they are still on another level than the rest of the cast, just not quite as good as Meta Knight. And the ease of use, it is so easy to play this character. And I'm not trying to keep referencing Mewtwo King, but he did say he thinks that there are a lot of players that would just get upset. Like, they would use Ice Climbers and they would upset a better opponent just because it was so easy to play this character. And, in tournament, you're going to mess up more. So I just feel like all of the strengths this character has in that particular engine, it just made for a really, really broken character. And not quite Meta Knight, but second best character in the game, and I still am putting this character fourth all time because of how much better this character was. Alright, next we're going to go with Smash 64 Kirby. And I'm not going to keep saying every character, carries players. This is the last time I'm going to mention that. But yeah, I gotta say, Smash 64 Kirby is so easy to use and so good. The up tilt on this character is just broken. Like, it combos forever. It has an incredible hitbox. This character can edge guard for free. Really good recovery. Down air on this character is just so stupid. Like, one hit of it spikes, and it has multi-hits. Like, it's actually crazy how good this character is at edge guarding. This character has incredible results. And as I said earlier, at one point people said Pikachu was in a tier of his own, but whether or not Pikachu's in a tier of his own or on the same level as Kirby, it is clear Kirby is by far better than the rest of the cast. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Kirby at number 5, and that'll be it for this tier. Alright, next I'm going to go with Melee Fox. And I don't believe that this character carries players very much. And the biggest reason why is because this is arguably the hardest character to play in Smash Bros. History. You could make an argument, maybe Falco. Ultimate has some challenging characters, like Ultimate Pikachu. But man, I think Melee Fox may be the hardest character to play. If we're just talking about how hard it is to execute the tech, like multi-shining and, wave shining, just all the combos take very, very precise timing, and you have to be really, really fast to be able to use this character. This character has actually injured people. Like Hacks Money had to go from a controller to a box, from a regular GameCube controller to a box-style controller, because this character is so fast. You have to move so quickly, it ended up hurting his hands. This character is incredible with very few weaknesses. Clearly the best in the game, I would say, other than... I know Armada and Leffen think it's Puff, but I've seen so many tier lists where people say that Fox is the best. I believe he's the best, the clear best character in the game. But a big factor I'm, considering is does the character carry the player? How much better is he than the rest of the cast? How easy is he? I think he takes a lot of skill, and although I do believe he's better than, I think he's number 1, but I don't think he's that much better. He at one point was in a tier of his own, but I think most people think he is no longer in a tier of his own. So really, really good all-around character. He's the most used character by far in Melee. But to me, I like placing him here because it just shows he's a great character, but he's not broken by any means. Alright, next I'm going to go with Smash 4 Cloud. And some people think differently of this character. I know DeBuzz said he thinks Cloud's on the same level as Bayonetta, but I don't think most people think that. I think you could argue maybe, kind of like what I said with Ice Climbers and Meta Knight, maybe Cloud, he's clearly second. Maybe he's in a tier of his own, and Bayonetta's in a tier of their own. Or maybe he's on the same tier as, Diddy and Sheik and Rosalina and all the other really good characters in Smash 4. I don't think he's on the same level as Bayonetta, though. Really, really good character. His range is ridiculous. It's crazy how he can actually store up his limit. He actually went down as like the greatest doubles character ever, I'm pretty sure. I think he may have actually gotten banned in doubles. And I know I'm mainly talking about singles, with all this, but I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. Just was a really, really good character. His biggest weakness seemed like he had an exploitable recovery, but his neutral was pretty damn amazing. All around, just a really good character. And as I said, I think with this whole tier, pretty much these characters don't carry as much as the characters above them. So for that reason, I'm gonna go ahead and put him here. Very, very good all-around character. But I just feel like he's not quite on that level as even the people above him in SS. I don't think he's there. I don't think he's OP either. So I'm gonna leave him right here for now. 3 characters are all from Melee. And the order I think is going to be Marth, Falco, and then Puff. And the biggest reason I want to group them together is the order of these characters seems to vary like crazy. Now, most people think Fox is the best, including myself. However, number 2 through 4 is very uncertain. A lot of people think Falco's second, but then a lot of people think Falco's fourth. I've seen a lot of people think Martha's second, a lot of people think Puff's second, and I've seen Puff as low as fourth. It's kind of crazy, you know? Marth, to me, seems to be more consistently second or third, whereas from what I've seen, Falco and Puff can be as low as 4, but as high as 2. Unless you're Armada and Leffen. Those are like the only people that think Puff is the best. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. They could be right. I'm just trying to tell you guys, you know, the main opinion of most people. I'm trying to express to you guys what most people think and what I think. So basically the point I'm trying to make is that all the characters above these 3 are at least number 1 or number 2. They are all at least number 1 or number 2. These characters, it varies. We're not sure where they are. You know, I don't feel like they carry players that much. They're really, really strong characters, but I feel like they're more honest than a lot of the characters above them. So that's the biggest reason I wanted to group them together and why they're lower on the tier list. Alright, next I'm going to go with Smash Ultimate Joker. Or I guess just Joker because he's only in that game. Joker is an amazing character. Some people think Pikachu is the clear best in Ultimate, but I think Joker is. He actually has gotten nerfed, and he's still this good. With Arsene, it gives him a crazy comeback factor. He's amazing off stage. You know, his edge guarding's ridiculous. Good recovery, great neutral. He has, I mean, a ton going for him. And as I said at the beginning, it seems like Pikachu and Joker are just by far, you know, the 2 best. Although they are in the same tier as other characters. They don't have their own tier. I don't think they carry players that much. Both very skillful characters, and they're not way better than the rest, but it just seems like they are the top 2. So that's the biggest reason why I have them at the end, is they're not that much better than the other S tier characters, and there are a lot of S tier characters in Ultimate. So really, it comes down to how balanced the game is. It's not that Joker and Pikachu aren't incredible characters. They are. They're amazing. It's just the fact that there are other characters that are really good too. So, as good as they are more balanced. Or the game that they're in is more balanced. The other games, the other characters just stand out more. So that's it for the tier list, guys. I hope you liked it. I'm sorry this video was kind of all over the place because I have been losing internet, you know, all week. And I've actually gotten it back and lost it again. And honestly, where I live, it is extremely noisy. So I have had to re-record this over and over. And, you know, the last tier list, I had good luck. And, you know, it was a good day. And I was able to record it all at once. And that went amazing. But with this video, I had to keep recording over and over. So you will hear my voice sounding kind of different because I'll be at different angles with the mic. So I apologize for that. I'm working hard to try to get this as professional and high quality as possible. The next tier list will be a lot more smooth. I hope you guys can at least appreciate the idea of this and maybe at least like, you know, the placement of the characters. So if you didn't think the explanations were that amazing, or you were like, why does his voice sound different? Why is it so obvious, you know, that there's multiple clips here and there? So I kind of wanted to explain that. If you guys were asking those questions, I apologize, and really grateful for anyone watching. And I know I don't have a big following, but for the few subscribers I have, it means everything. So I feel like I owed you guys an explanation, and the next video will be a lot more smooth, a lot better, because we just went through a winter storm, so that should be over with. We shouldn't have to be worrying about any more internet problems, so I can kind of plan this out better next time. But I hope you guys at least like the tier list, and yeah, to anyone watching, thank you so much.